Hello guys, this is Avcoor, and I saw a lot of reroll guides because of newer players, but I think you as a newer player should learn what roles characters play before you think about what weapon I should get or what team I should build. When you play this game or you play any game, it's better for the person to choose what they want. I can tell you who's the best character, and that kind of poisons your mind to an extent because you look at another character and you say, well, they're pretty sus, they're garbage. And that's not what I'm here to do. So I'm going to help you guys by showing you what roles are necessary in order for you to complete content. So let's just go and build a team. Let's build a team. Let's go and let's build a team. Let's wipe this out. Let's trash it. Let's trash it. Let's reset party. So what are the roles? There's typically four roles, but we combine them for the simple fact there's only three slots. So there's only three slots. You'll never have any more than three characters, like a typical Final Fantasy game, like a typical Final Fantasy VII game. So what are the roles that you want to invest in? First of all, let's look at the DPS. So your DPS is a character that only deals damage. And there's a couple of characters that function really well in this. You have Cloud, who's a physical attack damage dealer. You have Sephiroth, who's a magic damage attack dealer. You have Tifa, who's actually an extremely good physical attack damage dealer. And for the most part, the characters are pretty flexible because you have flex characters like Zack and Barrett that can do a little bit of both because they're mixed attackers. But there's not another strong magic attacker the way Sephiroth is. It's just not happening. But if you want to fill the role, Aerith actually makes a really great magic attacker. If you want to put Zack, he does too. And so does Barrett. And to an extent, Matt makes a strong physical attacker and magic attacker. So Lucia is kind of in like a weird spot because of her weapons. She can either go physical attack or magic attack, but you have to really invest in that. So let's construct a physical attacker, and then we'll construct a magic attacker, and you'll see the difference. So, with our physical attacker, remember there are things that are the same and there are things that are different. So we always start with the costume. If you have a costume that either buffs physical attack or actually does a elemental buff, that's the type of costume that you want, but we're going to go with Murasame Battle Guard. Because your physical attacker must focus on attack, his costume, his skills must always enable him to do as much damage as possible. So, with your weapon, your main hand weapon is very important for your physical attacker. So we're going to use Murasame because Murasame is actually one of the best physical attack weapons in the game. I know that Tifa has a weapon that actually gives her 54 points of physical attack, which is amazing. But Cloud actually comes with boost lightning potency at when max invested at 36 points and physical attack at 40 points. That's really good. And his support material is physical attack, and sigil boost. So this is the perfect weapon in its construction. But it's limited in the fact that it can do lightning damage. He actually has another weapon that does water damage, which is the Maritime Sword. So if you wanted to, you equip that and you would equip his Water God. So you're looking at the foundation of a really great physical based attacker. I want to stress this before we move any further. Your physical attacker, your magic attacker, has to have a weapon, a main hand weapon that generates the 40 cap of attack. If it goes any less than that, it's not any good. So there are weapons that boost physical attack. Like Barrett has a weapon, his physical defense down weapon, that actually only hits the 26 mark. That's not good. And that's why he's not really the best physical attacker, because he does not have a weapon that allows him to achieve this, whereas Zac does. Zac actually has his newest weapon allows him to achieve 40 points of physical attack, and you really need to think about that. Any DPS, their main hand weapon is super important. It defines their playstyle. So when you look at these guys, you got to look at their main hand weapon and say, is this a main hand weapon that allows them to be a physical attacker? That's the very core of a physical DPS. I hate to say it like that, but it is. If they don't have the weapon, they're not physical DPSs. So we have this weapon that's really good. So what else do we need? We need another weapon that actually supplements what he's doing. And Cloud has a couple of weapons that do this. So let's look at three in particular. So we have Apocalypse, which is pretty unique in the fact that it does non-elemental physical damage with what a physical DPS really needs. And notice that it hits the 40 point mark of boost attack, which is really important because if you spec your physical DPS right, you will exceed the 55 points necessary in order to get the maximum amount of physical attack. So you're going to need another boosting aspect, and that's always attack. Physical attack first, attack later. So that's what you need. And of course, it comes with physical attack, but you don't worry about that. And we have this weapon, which is unique because it gives him a supplementary role as a debuffer, which he reduces physical attack. This is important. Buster Sword is important for the simple fact is it gives him boost HP and boost attack, which is one of the rarest combination of our abilities. That's amazing. Braver sucks. I think it sucks. I mean, it does X sigil break damage. That's great, but it's the R abilities that define this weapon. So yeah, that's another really good weapon, a really good weapon. And if you wanted to double down on the physical attack, you could use Maritime Sword because it actually gives him 24 points, which would be converted into 12 points of boost physical attack. So when you look at it, if we equip Maritime Sword, you'll see his R ability actually hits the 55 point mark. So you can no longer put any more into that. So this is the max you'll get. And that's what you want for your physical DPS. You want to hit that point where you can no longer put any more points into his physical attack. That means you're done and you don't have to worry about it. That means as a player you have constructed him to the point where he's exceeded that aspect. So now you want to invest in some HP. So we're just going to toss some HP on him because we don't want him to die. And as far as HP goes, 5,500 for regular content, 6,000 for and above for advanced content. So we'll do that. And we'll toss this on because this is a really good weapon because it gives him boost attack. So when you look at his R abilities, we're looking at boost attack and we're looking to take that a little higher. And we'll find another one just for this one since I maxed this out. We'll go here. So he's hitting 3,000 physical attack. He's got almost 6,000 HP. His magic attack is irrelevant since you'll never use it. And we go here. You can do whatever limit break you want. It doesn't matter as long as it does damage because that's all he's here to do. Another thing I would like to stress with people, your physical DPS does not need a cure material on them unless it increases their attack. Otherwise, he doesn't need it. So we'll just give him some material that just does attack. So he can do ice-based attack. He can let's see what else. He can do some fire-based attack. Only use blows on him in the material slot. So he can do lightning, ice, fire, water. And let's give him some wind. Or let's just give him a sigil breaking one for the sake of argument. Let's give him a sigil break. Let's go ahead and give him ruiner blow. Yeah, let's just put this on him. All right. So in fact, if I really wanted to, you actually would like to put the triangle sigil boost, so we'll do that for the sake of argument. Let's put triangle sigil boost on this guy. All right, so we do triangle sigil boost. And this is a basic rough construction of a physical DPS. He does not care about healing because the other two units actually supplement him. He is the main DPS, he does the most damage, and when spec properly, he should be able to kill anything on the physical weak side. That's his job. So let's go and construct a magic based character. So we'll use Sephiroth as this example. So your magic based attacker is only supposed to do the same thing that your physical attacker did. He's only supposed to do magic damage, and so his costumes reflect that. So we have boost magic attack and Frostblade Arcanum. That's where we're going to start to build from. Always look at your costume and your main hand weapon, because that's going to be the foundation of your character. So let's go ahead and pick up Frostblade Arcanum. Frostblade Arcanum is just a magic ice version of Cloud Sword, because when you have max investment, it's 4036, and you get a whopping massive 549 points of magic attack, and you do 800 points of magic ice damage at max investment. So we equip it to him. So this guy is already smoking. He's got his magic attack, he's got his magic attack costume, and once again, this guy, like Cloud, has weapons that supplement his strategy. So we have the Shimmer Blade Model 1, which does non-elemental damage, much like Apocalypse, and you get your boost attack to 40, which is really good. You get boost ability potency, which is really good. And we have the Kuja Spirit Blade, which gives you boost magic attack and boost ability potential, which is really good. And this one I do not have, but this is actually really good as well because you get boost fire potency at a high level. He has a very great selection of weapons. And we actually have Thundaga, which is the CC Alloy Blade, which is really good. The boost magic attack is lower, but it's supposed to be a second hand weapon, not a main hand weapon. And you're getting boost lightning potency at 48 points, which is absolutely insane. So for the sake of argument, we're going to... let's mention this real quick. Nameless is for the HP and the HP alone, and Teloric Fury is actually a solid attacking skill because you do 4 ATB to get the magic defense to mid, which is really good. So for the sake of argument, we're gonna go ahead and use this Shimmer Blade model because we're getting boost ability potency 7, and we're getting magic attack, so we're going to need some more magic attack. So let's go to some magic attack support weapons, and we'll go ahead and snag this. So that should max him out. So now he actually exceeds it. So we're at 58 points of magic attack, and that's what you want with your DPS. You want to have the maximum amount of magic attack, so you really do want to hit that 55. And if you have to, you will have to sacrifice other stats to get there. But that's the whole point of a magical DPS and a physical DPS. You understand in your construction that you must do that because they are here to do one job. And if they cannot do that, there's no point of you using them. So now that we have that out the way, we can get some HP. So we'll just toss an HP weapon on them. So we're at 5,183. So we'll toss the Magic Cure-All Sword on him. And we're at 5,989. So we only want magic on him, magical attack materia. So we're looking at some magic attack materia. Since he already has ice, we can toss some fire there so he can hit with fire. We don't need cure on this guy because there's other people that are going to do that job for him. He is focused on dealing magical attacks. So we can toss him thunder. So he can do ice, fire, and thunder. And we drop a sigil on there. And since he has the ruin break, that works. And that's what your basically your physical, your magical DPS wants to do. He wants to only use his magic attack. He or she only wants to do their magic attack, and they don't want to do anything else. And if you need to stretch the character to do a small supplementary support action, like say for instance magical debuff, or you need to remove attack or magic attack, you can have them do that. But their main purpose is simply to attack. And so we are done with the two offensive units in team construction. So the next one is the healer. Healer can be a character that just heals. Remember, the healer's job is to heal. You can put as much support material on them as necessary. So we got a bunch of healers. We got Aerith, we got Tifa, we got Zac. Well, Zac is a single target healer. So Tifa, Aerith, Matt, these are the three main healers, and Cloud can actually heal as well. And hopefully, if I do everything right, I'm going to try to make Bear the healer. But for now, let's just go ahead and do Aerith since she's easier to construct. So with Aerith, we just want a costume that, of course, puts up heal. Another good stat for healers is HP. HP or heal does the trick. Because, first of all, you want the HP to be high and their heals to be high. And if you can, you want a defensive stat to be high so they can survive and focus on keeping the party alive. So we use Fairy Tail because it's a maxed out weapon that increases your heal by 27 points, which upsets me. I wish it was switched, like 36 heal and 27 earth resist. The support material is okay. Magic attack, it's okay. Excuse me. But his main job here is to heal, which it comes with a whopping 285 points, which is a great start. And as you can tell, her heals are at 1,249, a great start. So with your healer, if they're going to do offense, it must be supplementary. And that's where Sun Umbrella comes in. Like with Matt, you actually want the weapon that actually drops physical attack, because your healer is focused on healing, and when they're not healing, they're supporting the party. This is the full-on support role, and don't try to make it more than that. Sun Umbrella and Fairy Tail will get you through a lot of content. First of all, she's dropping magic defense, she's dropping physical defense, so she's doing a little bit of debuff, but that's not mainly why she's here. So when we're looking at sub-equipment, first of all, we're trying to raise HP. That's your first goal, raise some HP. So we're going to raise her HP, and we're going to raise her HP again. So, all right. And then we're going to just put on something. You can go two ways. Do something that allows her to heal better, or do something that allows her to attack better. Whichever you want to do. But for me, I think it's more important for her to heal. And you notice her magic attack is so-so, and that's okay. So with this, we actually want to look for HP. So let's go to HP. And you sort from there. And we go down here, and we look for a high HP boosting material. Wow, that seems to be messed up. Okay. So that gets her pretty good. That actually increases heal, which we want. And of course she's using magic attack, but someone like Matt would actually use physical attack. So healers differ. Like Tifa would actually use physical attack, and Cloud would actually use physical attack. So not every healer is built the same. There's a formula to it. So That actually increases heal and HP, so we want that. And we want something that allows her to support. So for here, we actually want, well, where's the poison? Want to cure poison, but understand when you do that, you actually want to have control over your healer more so than any other character, because the AI sucks using a healer. So do not keep your hands too far away from your healer. DPS programs and functions are easier to manage than the healer, because the computer cannot react and anticipate the strategies that you're trying to implement. And so, for the sake of argument, let's put a ruiner on her. So that's how it would look like, a rough assessment, but you tweak this formula to whatever content that you're facing. There's a couple of things that you want to know about this build. First of all, you want a healing weapon. You want a supplementary weapon that does something besides just damage. And the materia for a healer will be more versatile than any other materia in the game for any character, because they are simply asked to do a little bit more at a lesser stage. Like, she's not going to do the most damage, or Matt's not going to do the most damage, but the skills that they have allow other players to perform their roles better. So when you look at construction and deconstruction, you're going to do a lot of that with the healer. The healer is going to change a lot in their material slots. The weapon might not change, but the material slots will change constantly. So let's talk about the debuffer. There's a couple of characters that are good for the debuffing role. Bear's good for it. The best is Tifa, because her limit break is so fast. Zack is a good debuffer. Sephiroth has a good debuffing weapon. But it's Tifa and these two, because Red 13 is actually a great debuffer. And third tier debuffers are Zack, Glenn, and Sephiroth. And Cloud is actually a solid debuffer, sadly. In fact, like, when you get to the lower ranks of debuffers, you'll find that a lot of characters have debuffing potential. It's just Barret, Tifa, and Red 13 actually have limit breaks to supplement debuffing. So let's look at Barret, because I built my Barret. So your debuffer is your secondary DPS. So when you build a debuffer, understand that they actually have to do some DPS. So the debuffer follows the attacker and is supplemented by the support. So whatever DPS your DPSer does, you want your debuffer to follow behind that. If Cloud does physical damage, you want Barret to do physical damage. That's why I'm actually trying to construct a unit to supplement Sephiroth, and I'm trying to make Zack that character, because he can drop magic defense, which Sephiroth actually kind of needs in order to do more damage. He can do it himself, but if he's doing it, then he's not attacking. So remember, your debuffer follows your DPS. Your debuffer debuffs the enemy for your DPS. So with this, we're going to put on scrap armor to increase his DPS. And we're going to give him a weapon that allows him to deal damage, so heavy Hauser. And we're going to drop this weapon, War Machine, because it does quick burst, which drops physical defense for Cloud. So Cloud's your main DPS. This is the weapon that you want. But remember, this is not limited. So if you wanted him to lower magic attack, you can use solid bazooka. Say, for instance, there's an enemy that uses a lot of magic attacks, say like the summons. This is a good weapon for Barret to use, or a debuffer to use, to supplement your DPS. Tifa is actually better because she can do both. She can do physical attack down and magic attack down, which makes her absolutely insane. Barrett can only do magic attack down, which kind of sucks. The better weapon for Barrett would be a weapon that simply just allows him to take down physical attack. He doesn't need a special weapon. He just needs a weapon to complete the role that he's trying to do. So, yeah, you want a debuffer to do that. You want a debuffer to be like Tifa, but Tifa's not the end all to be all because she can do so much that it's hard to justify her sticking to one role, even though she's the best at debuffing. She's absolutely an amazing character. Unfortunately for Barrett, Barrett is a support character. That's his role. That's what he does. So in sub equipment, you want to be a little versatile in your R abilities. And with your debuffers, you have to look at your R abilities. So we have to look at physical attack, and we have to increase that. So we're just, for the sake of argument, we're going to use Cloud's weapon because that takes up his physical attack to a substantial level. We're also going to use this weapon because he needs HP. Your debuffer at all times should have a little more HP than your DPS. But the simple fact is most of the support goes to the DPS. He does not need as much HP as the healer or the secondary guy because if you need to remove poison from your DPS, that's like a turn that he's not going to get. So Barrett is like secondary. You want him to have HP to survive, so when you take care of your DPS, then you can take care of him. So now we look at our abilities, and boost physical attack is max. So we don't worry about that no more. So all we'd worry about is HP and physical attack. So let's look at something that will increase our physical attack. Okay, let's just... Oh yeah, let's go down here. We have Bald Eagle. Bald Eagle is like a superior physical attack buffing weapon. So we hit the 3,212, which is pretty solid. So with your debuffer follows your DPS. So whatever he or she is doing, your debuffer has to follow suit. So if you're dealing with a lightning enemy, let's just say Cloud is dealing with a lightning enemy, you're going to want him to have lightning blow or thunder blow. But your DPS doesn't heal, and maybe you need an extra heal. So if you need to, you can give him some healing material. That's if you need to. Sometimes you don't need to give him healing material, but if you want to play it safe, then it's okay to give him some healing material. Okay, and he gets a rune blow. So he's got 6,000 HP. He has roughly 3,500 attack, and his heal, is mediocre. His defensive stats can be better if need be, but your debuffer needs to supplement your DPS to help them do as much damage as possible. And this set is a rough idea of what you want. So let's just switch this for a second because the debuffer oftentimes turns into a debuffer, right? So we give him this, which buffs physical defense, and you'll be surprised that a lot of debuffers can actually do buffing, and this is an aspect that Barrett actually has over Red 13 and Tifa is the fact that he can actually buff physical defense, which is really good. But Red 13 has buffing options, and so does Tifa. But the whole package that Barrett comes with is pretty useful if you have the time to invest in it. Like Glenn also has a buffing weapon too. Glenn is actually a really good buffer. Not so much Zack. Another good buffer is Red 13 because, like I said, he has buffing options, and so is Matt. Matt's a great buffer, and Cloud, if he needs to be, is a great buffer. Sadly, because Cloud can do everything because he's the main character. But anyways, this is how you would construct the team based on certain roles. I put buffer and debuffer together because that's the most flexible position in your three-man team. Other positions are not as flexible because the DPS can do a little bit of debuffing, but that's only in advanced strategies when you need to stretch your characters because they need to do multiple things like on dungeon runs. But in simple strategies, you have DPS, you have healer, and you have debuffer or buffer. But anyways, this will help you actually do a wish list the way you want to do it. And I'll do a wish list video of what weapons that you can use, but I think this video is far more important. But anyways, if you like my content, hit the like, share, subscribe button. I'll get back to you. Have a great day, and goodbye.